Hey guys, Brett Weiss here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Been in a bit of a funk lately, and it's obvious why. The pandemic, and strangely enough, the first couple of months of the pandemic, I was doing okay. Now, like everyone, I was a little scared and just kind of wondering what was going on. And I had been following world news before the pandemic hit the United States, so I knew it could be very serious here. But I was sort of doing okay on a day-to-day basis. I had a book deadline and I could immerse myself in that. And I needed to be in my office, and that was taking up a tremendous amount of time, and it was really keeping my mind off things. And just on a day-to-day level, I was doing all right. We were trying out some different recipes, and my wife was home. We were both home more and just spending more time together. We were doing okay, but just whatever reason, just the last few days, the whole thing has caught up with me. Now, I'm not here just to whine, but I do want to talk about 5 things. Just sort of get them off my chest and just let guys know what's been going on. And I'm sure you'll be able to relate to some of this. And before I get to these 5, other people's problems are much worse than mine regarding the pandemic, regarding the virus. People I know have lost loved ones. It's been devastating to a lot of people's jobs and their loved ones. I know my problems aren't nearly the worst with this, and I know they've made some, like teachers, for example. My wife and son are both school teachers, and their jobs have been made tremendously difficult by this, having to teach online and in person and everything, which, is a stressor. But anyway, all I'm saying is that I know others have been affected by this virus more than me, especially people that have gotten it or have loved ones that have gotten it and passed away. So anyway, let me get to my 5 things that have just kind of caught up with me, just kind of been bugging me more the last few days than before, and just really, I just need to get this off my chest because I've just been kind of down lately, and I try to be kind of a positive guy, and I don't like to admit I have feelings or ever get down or depressed or whatever. But the last few days have been kind of a bummer. Anyway, I think all of this stuff, this virus stuff, has finally caught up with me, and hopefully this video will let me get that out a little bit. And I think you might relate to some of this stuff. So I've got 5 things that are just kind of a bummer right now, and I'm starting to really feel. So number 5, masks. Yeah, I'm a little bit tired of wearing them, and I don't like wearing them like most people, but I think it's super important to wear one. And it makes me crazy when I see people in crowds and when I'm around people for an extended period of time in various situations, whether it's work or anywhere, and they're wearing their mask around their chin the entire time, or they've got it well down below their nose. And I see some people wearing them kind of like this, where their mouth is partly exposed and their nose. And I see tons of people just walking around like this, and just for the longest time. And what really kills me is when someone's wearing a mask and doing it well and doing it for an extended period of time, and then when it's time to talk to someone, they'll go, "Hey, blah 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 blah," and this happens to me at work sometimes, and it's kind of a bummer. But anyway, the whole mask thing and the mask controversy and all that, fed up with it, but I definitely continue to wear a mask, and it is super important. Science and medicine has shown very important to wear a mask when social distancing is not possible, and so I definitely recommend it. It's just a bit of a hassle, and people irritate me and frustrate me that don't do it properly or that deny the fact that they are, provide some measure of safety and some measure of helping stop the spread. So that's number 5. Number 4 sort of relates to it, just deniers. Whether it's on social media or on the news, see a news report, or just maybe people in your own lives or people just flat out people that are still, after more than 200,000 deaths, people that are still denying that this is serious or that anything's going on. It's mind-blowing. And at this point, there's plenty of information out there. There's plenty of science. There's plenty of articles. And at this point, if you don't get what's going on or you just don't think it's serious, I really can't help you. Now, I know I'm not talking about people that do take it seriously and think shutting down is more harmful than the virus. I'm not even talking about those people. I'm talking about the people that just don't get it, that just misunderstand what's going on or believe the conspiracies or whatever. Number 4 is deniers. Number 3, now this is ironic considering I'm talking about it. I'm tired of all the talk. I'm tired of talking about cases, about spread, about other countries, about how horribly the U.S. has handled it, which I believe the leadership has. But just in general, just talking about it has just worn me out. I'm tired of hearing it, and ironically, again, I do think it's still important to talk about it, to learn more about it, to stay tuned to what's going on, and to so you can be safe, and so you can be prepared for what's going on, and you can make smart decisions. But holy cow, I'm just exhausted about words like cases and words like virus and that other word that maybe they demonetize you on YouTube for saying or whatever, the pandemic. I'm just so tired of all these words and spread, and I'm just tired. Anyway, so that's number three, tired of all the talk, ironically enough. Uh, Number two, now we're getting down to the two that are just really making me crazy. Concerts is number two. I absolutely love going to concerts, and I don't just mean the big shows. I love those as well. Those have gotten really expensive, but I still like going to those when I can. Sometimes somebody will give me a free ticket, or if it's a show I really want to go to, I'll make it happen. But I do go to, a lot of smaller shows. Like, I like to go to bars and see local bands. I like to see tribute bands, cover bands, and everything. And I just love the energy and excitement of being at a concert. Now, there are some places that have started opening up. Certain bars are open and you can order food because they'll consider themselves a restaurant. It just depends on where you are. And so there have been some live shows, but I haven't been back because I'm sure I will get out pretty soon in the next few weeks to some shows, but I just haven't gone out and done that yet, and I'm really missing it. I miss going and seeing live music. I love the energy and excitement and just the camaraderie. Not terribly long ago, I went with a friend to see a Kiss cover band and an Ozzy cover band, double bill, and we're just just as the night goes on, you kind of you're just having so much fun. Maybe you've had a couple of beers and you're high-fiving the people next to you because there's a great song that the band plays or whatever, and just having an amazing time. And I miss all that closeness, just all that craziness, and just the energy and just the electricity and the people. And that's just not possible with with the virus that's going on, and it just makes me crazy. And I definitely miss that aspect. I mean, ever since I turned 16. Actually, when I was 15, and even before that, I mean, I would go to concerts with my brother at Six Flags, and they had some awesome shows there. And I would go, but my first really big arena rock show was Journey when I was 15. I went with some friends at Reunion Arena, amazing. And then when I got a car, I just went to, in high school, I went to over 60 big arena rock shows. And that doesn't include, opening bands and all that. And it doesn't include smaller shows that I would see at different, bars, places we knew we could get in. Even though we were underage, we would see bands that way. As a matter of fact, I saw Pantera before anybody knew who they were in Fort Worth and all that kind of stuff. And I just miss just the excitement and the energy and just the being around people that are just, having a crazy good time. I really miss concerts and crowds and all that stuff and just not thinking about it. Like last November, I saw Ace Frehley, a childhood hero of mine, the former lead guitarist for Kiss. And it was in downtown, it was in Deep Ellum, which is basically downtown Dallas, a section of it. And it's just this trees. Is the name of the club. It's a pretty legendary club in Deep Ellum. And standing room only, it's packed, and we're just having a blast. We're just a few feet away from, as Damone says in Fast Times at Ridgemont High, we're so close, we scare the band, and just having an amazing time. Me and one of my best friends, Johnny, from, I've known since I was in 4th grade, and he was in 2nd grade, and, we've always been huge Kiss fans, and, we're just a few feet from this legendary guitarist who's one of our childhood heroes, and just, no thought of virus or any of that. This was last November, before any of that was a concern, and just having an amazing time, yelling and screaming and having a blast and just acting like idiots, and it was amazing. No thought of crowds or social distancing, didn't care about any of that. And we're walking around just the Deep Ellum, and there's bars open, there's live music everywhere. It's kind of like 6th Street in Austin, which my wife and I went to fairly recently just to get out of the house and do something and be outside. And it was almost like a ghost town, because there's no live music. There's just a few people milling about, but just that whole concert scene, live music scene, just being, shut down pretty much. It's been a major bummer, and it's sort of, got me down a bit. But You know, and this weekend I did have an opportunity to go see a Stones cover band Friday night, and then last night there was something else. Anyway, there's been a couple of local shows this weekend of cover bands, and I just, with masks and distancing and just tentative steps back to normalcy, I'm just not quite there yet, but I hope to be soon. And I just didn't want to do that, so we'll see if I can brave it, make it out to a show. We'll see. Maybe I should do that and just accept the limitations. And maybe you have to get there early to, because, so many places, it's 25% or 50% or whatever, depending on where you are, capacity. Anyway, I miss concerts a lot. That's number 2. And number 1 is, and you may have guessed this if you watch the channel a lot or if you just know me from shows, video game conventions. Comic book conventions as well, but mostly video game conventions because I just love going. I love seeing all my friends every year that a lot of them I only see at conventions. I miss the Portland Retro Gaming Expo, seeing the Metal Jesus crew, who I've become friends with for the last few years, really cool. The Classic Game Fest in Austin, David Kalin, who runs that, a really good friend of mine, a great supporter of my books and the channel and everything, really great guy. Miss seeing him and TN and everyone in Austin. My good buddy Delph Meek in Oklahoma, going up to Oklahoma shows, really cool guy, and he would come down to Dallas to go to different conventions, Retropalooza and whatnot. Just miss all my friends that I would, see mostly just at conventions. Big bummer. And I guess there's some ego involved too, because, I set up and, autograph books and everything, and that's always fun, but it's mostly just, the people and also the travel. I absolutely love travel. I love going to see different cities and exploring the downtown area and out too, just, going to the different tourist traps and nature centers and whatnot. I absolutely miss the heck out of traveling. And conventions killed 2 birds with 1 stone. I would usually try to, during conventions, it takes up, Saturday and the Sunday or maybe all 3 days, but usually at night or at some point I can get out and see some things, or maybe I'll show up a day early or a day late. And I absolutely love checking out. As a matter of fact, my son and I went up to a convention in Ohio. Got there a day early and saw the Shawshank Redemption Prison, the Christmas Story House, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That's just typical of what I do when I go to conventions. I like to go see, go up to Portland. My friend Delph and I rented a car and drove an hour and a half out to the coast just to see the sights and enjoy some nature, and it was amazing. Really miss conventions, and at these shows, where I'm set up, I'll do a presentation, a panel or whatever. A lot of times these convention promoters will, provide a hotel and maybe some travel expenses, food or whatever, or a combination of some of those things. And, that makes traveling, frequently, it makes it possible. It really helps out a lot. And I just miss the heck out of conventions, shaking hands with people coming up and saying, oh, I really enjoy your books. Thanks for writing these. And so I really miss that a lot. And, just from a bottom line standpoint, missing out on all these conventions has really hurt the bottom line. It's really hurt sales. And I know, with a lot of you guys, a lot of you have lost your jobs. So I do have, other gigs that I have that have been relatively unaffected. I think everything's been affected to some, degree or another. But, we're doing all right. We're hanging in there. But just I freaking miss going to video game conventions. Houston Arcade Expo is supposed to happen in November, but we'll see, if it is, it's going to be masks and distancing and stuff. And I went to a small record show recently in the afternoon after a lot of people had cleared out, but it was something. It was nice, but it's just not the same. I miss my friends, video game convention friends, and I miss just the electricity of a gaming show, the arcade, the atmosphere. I just miss it all. Anyway, those are 5 things that I thank you for indulging me and listening and just getting this off my chest. Feel better already. Just getting this off my chest. But I do have a lot of things to be thankful for. I can still get on my bicycle and ride like crazy. Can still walk my dog, spend time with my family. And, things are opening back up and you can social distance and, they have restaurants marked off. You can do some things more than you could, during the actual shutdown. So we're hanging in there. Hope you guys are hanging in there and doing well. Let me know in the comments, what has irritated the heck out of you about the pandemic, about the shutdown, and just about everything, the flu and everything. The flu, the virus and all that stuff. Just let me know in the comments how you've been affected and what's been going on with you. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for liking the video, and thank you for subscribing to the channel. I really appreciate it. We'll talk to you guys later.